perhaps to help us to gain a few more insights into some of the issues that have been discussed, I have with me some of the partners and some of the delegates at this conference. We are now joined by Kate Mainavoli from Plan International Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us. Perhaps you can tell us what are some of the issues that have come up, what are some of the issues that you had interest in, and did you feel that they were that they have been represented properly and discussed and debated, and as well as why is it important for 10 to 14-year-olds to be included in the conversation?
Thank you very much. Quite a loaded question. As someone who works for Plan International, I think it's really been very fulfilling, if I may use that word, to see so many countries and governments represented here, to see political will and the leadership in terms of addressing, the issues and what it's going to take to accelerate results, meaningful results for girls and young women, and building on the 1994 Program of Action, where governments, 179 countries signed up to a very, I would say, groundbreaking program of action to address issues around gender-based violence, calling governments to make specific commitments and financial contributions around issues that are affecting young people. But more importantly, I think one of the things that this conference, 25 years later, that is discussing is the whole conversation about sexual reproductive health rights for girls and young women. So you talk about the 10 to 14 age group. That is an age group that is very dear to us as Plan International. And as a civil society organization participating at this summit, I'm particularly very proud that our organization has been able to shed a light on this forgotten group, 10 to 14. And I think policymakers need to start recognizing that these 10 to 14 young girls are being left behind. They are falling through the cracks. We think of them as children, and we think that they do not need to have access to sexual reproductive health rights, and to begin to have a conversation about the needs of this group. If you look at the data, there isn't enough data around the 10 to 14 young girls. But yet in reality, and I speak as a Kenyan, living and working in Kenya, we know that 10 to 14-year-olds are being forced into early and forced child marriage. We know that this age group of 10 to 14-year-old girls are getting pregnant. They're dropping out of school. We also know that this age group are victims of gender-based violence, especially around female genital mutilation. And so for me, I'm particularly very excited and proud that we are beginning to have conversations about this particular age group, and that policymakers and governments need to start listening. So I'm very proud that one of the things that we do as Plan International is to really allow young people themselves to really speak about the issues that affect them. I don't think any girl wakes up saying, I am 10, I'm 11 years old, and I want to be a mother. And this is what the girls are telling us. And I think policymakers and governments need to have to listen to what young girls are saying about what they want and what they need, and the kind of services that will help them really stay in school and realize their full potential.
Thank you very much. And perhaps you can hear from a young person. This is Georgina. Maybe you can tell us about your experience at this conference. What were some of the issues that were of interest to you, of concern to you, and do you feel that your voice has been heard at this conference?
I am a youth advocate under Plan International, and I am happy to be part of the ICPD Conference 25 because one of the greatest challenges that we as youth face is how we are being engaged in issues that affect us as young people. For example, leaders may meet and talk about young people in the absence of young people. So when we have young people coming on board to talk about the issues that they are being affected with, to talk about the things that they face in their areas, it's really a nice opportunity for us to talk about that. And also, we have been heard in this conference. We had a youth boot camp just prior to the conference, and our voices were heard. And just coming here and talking to the leaders, giving them our voice, our say, telling them what we want them to do for us is a good thing for us as young people.
So those are some of the voices of the people who are here sharing their opinions, shaping the debate that has been held here. Some of the issues that come up definitely around sexual reproductive rights have also meant that some of the stakeholders here are split. Some of the discussions have centered around abortion as well as just having sex education for young people, especially the 10 to 14 age group that some have felt has been left out, as other age groups have been looked at between 14 and above and below those ages. So these are some of the discussions that are happening today, and there will be recommendations, there will be guidelines that will shape how countries address these issues and the kind of policies that they do enforce going forward. Back to you in the studio, Karen.